So you've all been asking for how to make your own screens, so we've brought a little kit together for you. Within the kit you'll get a mesh, a white mesh, and you'll also get an art sheet. The art sheet is what you cut a design into and then attach to the mesh, and then you can screen through to create your own designs. Excuse me. So there are a number of different ways that you can do this. You can either cut a design with a die or an electronic cutting machine, or you can actually do it by hand. So to do that, what you need is an image, and this is one we've printed from the CD. It's important to take into account if you're making any text for your screen, you need to reverse this when you print it. So what you need to do is place your art sheet down onto your image and draw around with a pencil. So here's one that I've done earlier. Okay. Once you've actually got the image onto the art sheet, you need to take a craft knife to cut it out. So here's one that I've partially done, and I've left this little bit in here just to show you. So I'm going to take my craft knife, and as you can see we've got a little bit within the image. It's easier if you cut this bit out first, and you do need to save these bits. So I'll just go ahead and do this. Follow your own advice, Wendy. So when you've got your craft knife in, if you're going around curves, it's easier to move the paper as you're cutting until you get to the end. Okay. Remember, we need to keep that little bit. We'll pop that to one side, and then we'll continue to cut around this image. You do need to stabilise it when you've got these open areas, so just keep your fingers out of the way but hold it down. This last little bit. Okay, I'll just pop that to one side with the rest. Before you want to attach this art sheet to the mesh, it's a good idea just to lay the mesh over the top to see how much area you've got around the edge. So I'm just going to pop that to one side. Excuse me, and I'm going to turn this over. So I'm going to carefully remove the backing sheet and do take your time with this. Try to keep it as flat as possible. Okay. Pop that to one side. Now I'm going to take the white mesh and hold it at the sides, and I'm going to carefully just pull the sheet back until we think we've got it in position. Once it's actually attached to the very edge, you smooth it down carefully. Now you want to be really careful while you're doing this, because we don't want to get any wrinkles in this mesh. So just take your time and press it down. Okay, so now we've done that, you can either use a squeegee to press that down or a brayer, because we want to make sure that all of the open area is pressed down firmly. Okay, so now we've got the art sheet attached to the mesh. Remember those little bits that we talked about earlier that you needed to save? This is for adding the details into the open areas. So if you keep these, and make sure you keep the backing on them, and just place them back into the aperture from which they came out of. And this bit's a little bit fiddly because we've got some quite small bits. So pop that down there. And then place that back in there. Push it down firmly, and then remove that bit. So you'll continue to do that all the way around your design. If you've got text and you've got loops or bits in your O's or A's, you'll need to do this before you actually print. And again, you go over with the brayer just to make sure they're stuck down firmly. So now we can dispose of those bits and get on to taping the mesh onto the frame. So I'm going to bring the screen sensation over, put the tools to one side. So when we're taping up screen sensation frame, we always need the yellow tape to go on the back, and it's the same with the make your own screens. It is important to get this really taut, so just take your time when you're taping it up, and always go over the edge just in case you need to readjust the screen. So I'm going to place that down on there, press it down firmly, and I go to the other side, do the same again. So I actually stuck it down to the mesh first, and then it just enables you to pull that nice and taut. Now we're ready to pop this into the screen sensation. How I get printing. So we'll pop that in there. Place the cardstock in there. You can tape it down if you wish to, just to stop it from moving. And close the lid. So now we're going to take some ink and just screen as you would do normally. If you do have a larger design than this, it is important to make sure you've got a nice even border around there. This will help you stop getting ink onto your project. So we've stirred the ink, place a generous amount on there. Let's just pop a little bit more there. And we're going to squeegee, place that back in the pot. Oops. Beautiful screen printed design. So you can use this for all of your projects, whether it be fabric or cards, paper crafting. And with this one, what we've done is just sprinkled a little bit of glitter on there while the ink's still wet, and then we've just mounted it up to make a card.